Welcome to today's tutorial where we are going to discuss why you should be using tables when working in Microsoft Excel. And we'll discuss a couple of reasons why you should be using tables and why tables are absolutely awesome to work with. So stick to the end and I hope you learn something out of this. So our very first reason why you should be using tables in Microsoft Excel is because tables are very easily formatted. When a table is created, Excel automatically applies a specific formatting to it, but you can easily change this formatting anytime with a couple of simple clicks. So as you can see, I've already have a table set up here, and this is the automatic formatting that I am speaking of. So yours might look a little bit different, but this is how, once I created this table, how Excel presented it to me. So this is really easily formatted. So what I mean about this, you can click anywhere on your table, you can select your whole table if you would like, but once you click anywhere, you can head at the top of your ribbon to the table design section. And once you're in this section, you can then see how easily you can format this. So we can remove our header row. You can add a header row if you don't have one. You can then select a total row, or you can then you can remove or add your filter button at the header row. So I'm just going to leave that there. We can do banded rows or banded columns, so you can remove both of them. So your table would look something like this. If we add banded columns, you can see how that would look as well. So I'm simply going to leave it at banded rows for now. And this is how easily you can format this. And you can even change your table style. So at the right top here, you can see a couple of preset styles here. But if you click on the drop down menu, you can see a bunch of styles that you can easily select, and you can change the whole formatting or the style of your table and how this table is presented. This carries on for quite a while. You can do a new table style as well if you would like, but I mean there are a bunch of preset options here that is absolutely amazing to use and just so quick to use. So with this options here, tables are really easily formatted, and this is something that you can use to create tables to look something exactly like you would like. So reason number two why you should be using tables is because table headers remain visible even if you scroll down. So I know I've got a small little table here, but for instance, if I scroll down, we can see that our headers remain at the top of our table. So Excel recognizes the top row of your table as column headers. And because of that, we can simply scroll down, and at any time we can see in which table or which column we are working and what we are working with. So you don't need to worry about scrolling down and forgetting which column is which value or which data that you're working with. As long as you are entering in your table, you can see your table headers, and this is just awesome to use so that you do not get lost in a bunch of data. So just to note something, if we, for instance, select outside of our table range, you can see our table headers have disappeared here, but this is easy. Once you select back into your table, your headers are back and you can see in which column you are working. And this is absolutely an awesome thing about Excel tables. So for our third reason why you should be using tables in Microsoft Excel, and for some people this third reason might be insignificant, but for some it is actually quite a cool trick that you can use. And the reason for this is that filters are added to your data. And I know most of you don't use filters, but when you're working in a table, filters can be quite awesome. So remember when we entered our initial table here and we headed to the table design section. we had this filter button that we can add or remove from our data. So you can remove this if you don't use any filters. But for this, I am entering this filter button and I want to use this filter button. So it's quite simple. And once I head, for this instance, I'm heading to the item number, and let's say I want to see specific data and I want to remove data from my table. So I can head to this filter and you can see a bunch of options that you can do here. So for this, I'm simply going to deselect some of these items, just some random items here. So you'll see once I press OK, we are only seeing the relevant data. And this is actually an awesome trick that you can use with this filters if you want to see specific data within your Excel table. And you can use this across all of your columns here, and it just works brilliantly. So as I said, for most people don't use filters, but if you're using a filter, it's actually quite an awesome trick that you can use on Excel tables. The next reason why you should be using tables is because tables automatically expand when you add new rows or columns. So to demonstrate this, we can simply, as you guys can see, I have the border of my table here, and in the next row, I'm going to add some data. So let's add item 13, and we can see after adding this, our table automatically expands and resizes into the new data range. And this works brilliantly. When working in tables, you can do columns as well, so it works either way. If we do another profit column here, you can see that the new section of our data is included into our table. And this is whenever you are entering data into a cell adjacent to your table will automatically expand into that new data range. And you can simply, if you want to exclude this data, you can use your undo button, your Control Z on your keypad, and this will not remove the data that you have entered, but it will resize your table back to its original size. You can use it either way, it doesn't really matter. And at the bottom right of your table, you can see once you expand this section here, let's just expand this couple of rows here, we can see that we have expanded our table, and now we can see another couple of rows or another couple of columns here. So this is easily how you can use this. You can simply use this to resize your table back to an original size. We can then just remove any data there. So these value errors here is still because we have then expanded the table, so it included any formulas that we used down there. So don't worry about that. But this is an easy way to expand tables and work in tables. It's actually quite an awesome thing that Excel tables offers you when you are working in tables. So the next reason why you should be using tables in Excel is because tables automatically name ranges. So as you create a table, your table will automatically have header rows, and this is where it is helpful. So I'm simply going to let's expand our table here to another profit column here. And once you enter any data here or any formulas here, so let's simply duplicate what we did in our original profit section. So we have our number of items sold. So as you guys can see, if I in my formula bar head to the number of items sold, we can clearly see what data we are using. And this is the brilliance of dynamic Excel tables and why these tables are user friendly. So if you head to whatever it may be, data, so let's just duplicate this just quickly. So as you guys can see, I'm selecting my data, but the references back to these cells aren't referencing to D2 or B2 or whatever cell. We actually have our named ranges, and this is awesome when working in tables. So this is why I recommend using Excel tables, because once someone enters your Excel table, so let's just expand that. So once someone enters this table and they want to see how you calculated this profit for this instance, they can simply head to your formula bar and you can see that what exactly has been done here. So you won't be sitting here with random cell values like B2, C2, A2, whatever it may be. You are actually displaying your formula in a way of your named range. And this is why using tables, it's actually user friendly and it's just an awesome thing about Excel tables. So the next reason why you should be using tables is because you can add totals to tables automatically. So this might sound strange, but remember, if we enter our table and we head to the table design section at the top of our ribbon, we can add a total row. So once I add this row, we can then see how this works. And this is not limiting your table. We can simply expand our table a couple of rows further down. And once you add anything to this, let's just quickly do this to show you exactly how this works. So as you guys can see, our total row has automatically adjusted with our new data. And this total row is actually quite awesome to use. So if I head to the drop down menu on my total row, I can do the sum of these amounts. I can do the average of these amounts. So let's head to the average and you can see the average of this section. So this is actually one of my favorite reasons why you should be using Excel tables. It's because these total rows are just so easy to use and you can automatically adjust your data that you want to see. For instance, your averages, you can sum your amounts, you can do the maximum amount that you have received in your profit section. It's just so simple to use, and these total rows can just improve how you are working with Excel. And if you are done with this section, you can simply resize your table back down to this section. Let's just resize it one more. So we can see this is how you can resize your table to anything that you would like. And this is an awesome thing about these Excel tables. So the next reason why you should be using Excel tables is because when tables automatically expand, either entering data in a adjacent cell to your table or expanding your table by dragging the lower right corner, expanding your formatting of your table expands with this. So you don't need to manually head back into your table design settings and expand your table. This table automatically expands as you are working, and it even expands your formulas. So as you guys can see here, we haven't entered any data in this section, but we have our formula that we have used in our profit section actually just expanded with our table. So this is an awesome thing about Excel tables. You do not need to manually enter any other data or any other things that you need to expand your table. This everything happens automatically, and this is a great reason why you should be using Excel tables. So another great reason to use Excel tables is that tables drag formulas down automatically. So you've probably noticed this when we were working when we added our second profit, but let's just show you once again. So I've added another profit column to this section. So let's just say, for instance, we want to use the number of items sold, the product of that with our retail price. So once I've entered this formula into the first cell of my table, once I hit enter, you can see the formulas automatically fill down your table. So this is just a great thing why you should be using tables. You do not need to autofill anything. You can simply enter one formula for your section, and this Excel table will automatically expand that formula throughout your table. And this is so much easier than autofilling any data or entering manual formulas the whole time. This is just an awesome thing, and why you should be using Excel tables. Everything happens automatically, and you can just carry on your work and know that everything just carries on through, and you don't need to double check any of these. Everything works exactly the same throughout your table. So the last reason why you should be using Excel tables for this tutorial is going to be that tables adjust name ranges automatically. So this works brilliantly every time you update your table with new data or even additional data. The names will adjust so that any formula or pivot table or pivot chart referring to the column will remain up to date. And this is one of the reasons why you should be using Excel tables. So to demonstrate this, I'm just going to show you guys. If I enter any new formulas here, so let's say we want to calculate the sum of our two profits here. So I know this is totally wrong, but you can see that our profit range number 2, our name range has automatically adjusted to our new column, our profit 2 column. And if we sum these two amounts, you can see exactly how this works. Our name range has automatically adjusted with our table. We don't need to do anything else. We have an new named range, and we can use this within formulas. And even if you expand your rows of your column, any formulas that you have and that you've used, it automatically expands with this function. So this is a great reason why you should be using Excel tables. And I think all of these reasons that we've discussed today are pretty great why you should be using Excel tables when working in Microsoft Excel. So I hope you learned something today. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like the video down below. That will really help the YouTube algorithm get this video out to more people that need Excel advice. And as always, share this video far and wide with anyone that you think might find this interesting. And please subscribe to our channel so that you do not miss any of our new content. But thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time. Cheers.